Well, thanks for joining us again. This is Talking Politics in Western Pennsylvania. I'm Bill Merrell, the host. We're doing a 10-part series on the Biden-Harris administration and the issues that have come up over the last 3 3/4 years. We finished 4 parts by last Monday, and today we're looking at Bidenomics and taxes and who pays what. A fact check. Biden voted to tax Social Security both times, once at 50% and once at 85%. The Democrats have pushed increase in those taxes on Social Security, even though you paid for that benefit. They taxed it a second time. And once again, Joe Biden voted for both of them. Whenever he came into office, he proposed a tax of 0.68% of the GDP, gross domestic product, making it the 10th largest tax increase since 1940. The effect of Biden's tax plan, okay, on 2020. Gross domestic product, it would go down by 1.62%. Capital stock would go down by almost 4%. The wage rate, which we've seen drop significantly, and we'll talk about, down 1.15%. And full-time equivalent jobs, which just came out today and is in this program, lost 542,000 jobs. And you'll see that this idea of looking at this 4 years ago came true, sorry to say. Fact versus fiction in the world of taxes. Biden's always trying to cause a class problem, okay? And he came out saying that the top 1,000 billionaires are paying a tax rate of 8%, okay? Which everybody gets mad because most people were paying even substantially more no matter what your job is. The IRS data for 2020 showed that the top 1% taxpayers actually paid between 25.99%, and actually that figure should be 30.3%, about 3 times higher than Joe mentioned. Biden's corporate tax push reflects his economic illiteracy. Okay? Beyond the president's class warfare rhetoric, the lure of putting his hands on more revenue is one of the factors behind the proposal. Biden likes to pretend he is a sort of deficit cutter, but his administration is the mother of all big spenders. Okay, and this tax push, as you see at the bottom, will in fact affect people making less than $400,000, and you'll be shouldering the corporate tax hike. The U.S. debt credit rating downgraded only for the second time in history. Last year, it was downgraded under the Biden-Harris administration. Once again, the rating downgrade of the United States reflects the expected fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years, a high and growing general government debt burden, and the erosion of governance related to AA and AAA rated peers over the last 2 decades. The sad part about it is the first time it was downgraded in history was under the Biden administration for basically all of the same reasons. All right? We didn't learn our lessons before, and we're paying for it again. Now, here's the problem that's going to affect everybody here. Bidenomics at work. Store closures surge in Pennsylvania. See the list, and this is from the patch. According to CoreSite, here are the retail closures so far in 2024. 620 Family Dollar. Rue 21, you see, is highlighted there because they may be coming out of their bankruptcy. We're not really sure on how many stores will stay open, but it had just been reported the other day that someone was interested in purchasing them. The 99-cent stores, CVS Health, 7-Eleven, Rite Aid. These are stores in Pennsylvania, according to the patch. And the list goes on. The Body Shop, Sam Ash Music, Burlington Stores, Foot Locker, Carter's, Abercrombie & Fitch, Big Lots. You may have seen on the news that the Big Lots in Bridgeville is questionable at this point. And it goes on. Dollar General, the Body Shop, Dollar Tree, Outback Steakhouse, 40 of them will close. Atria's in Pleasant Hills closed. Red Lobster is also highlighted because somebody is coming in to save them, supposedly. Walgreens here in Pennsylvania are closing, and you see McMurray is one of the sites that will be closing. So that will affect us here in the local economy. When you look at the closings, though, take a look around. There's a lot of empty stores going up here in McMurray. You have the car dealer on Route 19, which is sitting empty, and you have a couple other stores that have closed. Tupperware, which has been around for almost 100 years, filed for bankruptcy. Okay? So when we look at this economy, we really have to pay attention to what's going on. We just can't hear the rhetoric that's going on these advertisements, because 90% of them are lies to begin with. All right? They're pushing the lies, and they're continuing to push the lies. But let's look at the other places closing down. The other restaurants facing closure under Biden-Harris. Olive Garden, Five Guys, Waffle House, Texas Roadhouse. Joe's Crab Shack in Pittsburgh just shut down on Monday without telling anybody. Okay, Denny's, Ruby Tuesdays, Tijuana Flats. I mean, the Puca de Pepo here in Robinson shut down. You know, like I said, and it doesn't stop there. That's the problem. Historic corporate bankruptcies surge. Discover the unsettling reasons behind it. This brings the total number of bankruptcies in 2022 to 346, surpassing levels seen in the last 13 years. This report highlights interest rates, supply chain issues, slower consumer spending, and contributing factors in the spike of the bankruptcies. Here's one thing that most people didn't see, okay, and this was as September the 1st, as you see up there on the upper left-hand side. 41 locations closed on in banks in the last 2 weeks prior to that date. Okay, and you look down here and you see Bank of America. Everybody knows that the Citizens Bank at Giant Eagle closed a while ago. But there's numbers of, you know, they have Citizens here. Where is that? 29 closures of Citizens Banks. 90 closures from Bank of America. You know, a lot of these places just open locally pretty soon. Let's see how much student loan debt Biden has canceled. So far, the Biden administration has canceled nearly $144 billion in federal student loans. Okay, I'm still waiting for someone to justify this to me, because of the fact that if it's just to buy their vote, let's just be honest about it. All right. I realize that the colleges are costing more now than they ever have. And in fact, I mean, whenever I started out at Pitt in the early 70s, I think the rates were like $200 a credit. Those are fond memories of days gone by, but nothing like today. I don't have enough money to pay my student loans or buy a house. No wonder. Okay, whenever you look at these, and my grandson's in college, and I've asked him a couple times about the monthly expenditure of his friends. He stayed at home for the last 2 years and go to the local Penn State campus. But he told me that, yeah, his friends buy a lot of stuff. And then at the end of the month, you know, they're sort of tied in a knot. Financial freedom in America will soon be gone. There was a reason why Biden pushed for 80,000 new IRS agents. And it wasn't because of the fact that they're going to help at the border. It wasn't because of anything else other than watch you spend your money. Okay? As you already know, if you buy a gun online or with a credit card in a store, Uncle Sam now gets notified that you're buying that. Okay, and that apparently is going to happen almost everything now. So the Federal Reserve announced that they're now testing the digital dollar. That has in fact happened a while ago. And you should be scared. The digital dollar puts all of your money in the hands of the government. And they were able to know what accounts, what things you buy, limit your purchases. And in fact, Obama signed a paper, an executive order years ago, that says if the bank's having problems, they can take money out of your account. They owe it to you, but they can take it out of your account. Banking giant Morgan Stanley says that central digital bank currencies, digital money, may contribute to a shift away from the U.S. dollar. Now notice this was January 24. This is before Biden destroyed the petrodollar. So now we have a number of things going against us. As you look at the second, the majority whip strips Americans of their right of financial privacy. Okay, and at the bottom, the Chinese Communist Party move to use government-run digital currency to impose further control on its people and its economy. Biden tariffs are another nail in the dollar's coffin. Okay, Chinese-made electrical vehicles are rising from 25% to an astounding 100%, and that's the tariff placed on the vehicle. Okay, you see, the same week Biden imposed these tariffs, China, Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin announced they were strengthening their alliance in order to better challenge the U.S. military and economic hegemony. Now let's see what Biden's trying to hold you from. These are electric cars offered by China. Instead of spending $70,000 on an electric car here in America, China is producing cars that are rated rather high according to Electrek. And we see the one on the left is less than $10,000, and the one on the right, a little larger version, is less than $14,000. Imagine what these would do on the marketplace to Ford and Chevy and Chrysler if they came on the American market. Even with a 100% tariff, they're cheaper than any car, most cars, that our big four put out. Experts say Biden's budget dreams would add even more fuel to the sky-high inflation. Okay, we're going to drop right down there to the yellow because of the fact this is the thing that students, younger people, should pay attention to. Biden's budget is anticipating that the debt, his budget anticipates that the debt will go from $260,000 per household to $370,000 per household. Once again, that's debt we're throwing on younger generations. You know, it's bad enough that we have this per household now, let alone seeing how bad it can go. And once again, we'll take a look and see how bad it is. How inflation is just another way to raise taxes on Americans. Unanticipated inflation benefits government because government is a large debtor. Okay, some argue the benefits of inflation decreases government's incentive to vigorously pursue anti-inflationary policies. Let's see how that works. If you buy a 70-inch TV, all right, if the price in 2020 was $1,500 and the Pennsylvania sales tax here in Washington County is 6%, the sales tax on that item is $90. Now, 4 years later, Biden's tariffs has hit that marketplace, and that $1,500 TV is now $1,900. The sales tax is the same 6%, but the cost now, the tax now is $114. So without doing anything, the state gained $24. All right? And that's just them sitting back, so they don't have to be rushing trying to help you as the homeowner / citizen of the community. What they're doing is, in fact, milking the inflation, and you're paying higher prices because of it. Let's look out. Inflation at the pumps have hit you. Fuel economy, 2019 gas standard SUV four-wheel drive, approximately 20 miles per gallon. Driving at 12,000 miles per year at a price of $1.89 would cost $1,134 to fill that tank. Now, 2024, and notice I'm not using the highest price of $4.50 or $5. I'm using the price of $3.57 here. Under this figure, using the same premise of vehicle and everything else, 12,000 miles, at $3.57 would cost you $2,142 to drive the same 12,000 miles, an increase of $1,008 in your pocket under the Biden-Harris administration. For the 4 years, it's over $4,000 additional dollars that you weren't paying before, that you're paying now.
How hard has inflation hit you?
It hit me hard. It's hitting me hard.
What do you blame for it?
I blame the federal government at this point. If a working class mom who works as a paralegal cannot buy a $2 bell pepper because it's now $5, imagine a mother living on food stamps. Imagine a mother who's making minimum wage trying to feed children. They're killing us without killing us. If you understand that. They're killing us without telling us they're killing us. They're hurting people in ways that they can't help themselves. It's either feed my child or how about feed my children and I don't, but I have to go work.
How much money does the average middle-class American household makes, and how do you stack up? And even though the average income for a middle-class American has risen from $74,000 in 2010 to $90,000 in 2022, to have the same effective income as $74,000 in 2010, you need to make roughly $101,000 today, or as you see there, approximately $11,000 more per year. And your incomes haven't kept up to that, okay, because it's almost impossible. This slide says a lot. September 9th, the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank reports record numbers as more people seek their services. And why? Because they can't afford food, okay? According to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, from July 2023 to June 2024, the food bank distributed nearly 48 million meals. This is 6 million more than the prior year. Let's look at inflation, what it's done. When President Biden took office in January 2021, inflation was at 1.4%. But it rose significantly during the first 2 years of his administration, as you see, above 8% on that graph. And once again, this is a Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's not me coming up with some idea here. So, everything's heading up. Okay, and if you hear her advertisements now, she's going to cut everything. She's going to cut everything. She's going to crush lending institutions. She's going to crush your food stores. She's going to crush gasoline companies. She's going to destroy the foundation of anything. The only problem is Nixon did that. Nixon did that in the 70s. He halted all price increases. He froze everything. And the only thing it did was open the black market. It, in fact, caused things to disappear off the shelves. It caused gasoline to be rationed because OPEC all of a sudden jumped in. Her plans sound great in the community. They will destroy our economy. And Bernie Sanders just mentioned it the other day, and it's interesting. on Sunday called Vice President Kamala Harris' decision to moderate her views on fracking and Medicare for All pragmatic, saying that Harris is doing what she thinks is right in order to win an election, and that he still considers her to be a progressive. So all of the things that she hated before, that she loves now, including the wall, including, well, straws, including you name it, she was against it before, but now she's for it. Okay? Notice down the bottom is very telling, though. Sanders has stopped short of endorsing her since she replaced President Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. So I guess he's wondering exactly what she stands for, as is the rest of America right now, what she really stands for, because it's questionable. Once again, I'd like to thank you very much for coming today. We'll be looking forward to the 6th in the series, continues with Bidenomics. That is, we're going to break down home prices. Joe promised that he would, in fact, lower home prices. We'll see how he's done that. Okay, so we'll be looking forward to seeing you on Talking Politics in Western Pennsylvania.